Thank you, Speaker. Everybody needs a safe and secure place to call home. This is a simple statement that nobody in this place would dispute, and yet, sadly, right now, it is not something being borne out in our communities. Across the state, from the inner city, where the good people of the electorate of Newtown live, to the regions, people are struggling to keep a roof over their heads as the housing crisis continues to deepen. Interest rates are still edging upwards, short-term rentals are choking secure rental supply, and the construction of new public housing has ground to a halt as existing estates are threatened with demolition. Meanwhile, state and federal Labor's unwillingness to freeze and control rents have allowed rents to soar completely unchecked. The latest rental affordability index from National Shelter and SGS Economics and Planning shows that affordability in every Australian city but Hobart and Canberra over the past year has nosedived. There are over 60% of people in the electorate of Newtown that rent. In Sydney, affordability plummeted by 13%, and people on JobSeeker living in our city must now spend 137% of their weekly income just to rent one-bedroom apartments. To be clear, that is not possible, which means that housing insecurity and homelessness are a reality for so many people. This would be a disgrace anywhere, but in the richest state in one of the richest countries in the world, it simply beggars belief, and we must do so much more. We know that this government is touting new supply as a silver bullet to solving this wicked problem, and make no mistake, the Greens know that new housing supply must be part of the solution. But to meaningfully address the housing unaffordability crisis that is crushing our communities, this new supply needs to actually be affordable. More luxury apartments that most people can't afford to live in and families can't fit in will not do a thing to help those struggling to meet their housing costs right now. But what actually is affordable housing? The term itself has become ubiquitous with discussions of boosting housing supply, but its definition is slippery and it seems to vary depending on who you ask. It would be reasonable to assume, as many do, that affordable housing means housing people can rent without going into rental stress or spending more than 30% of their income on weekly rent. But according to New South Wales planning law, affordable housing is rental housing for low to moderate incomes that is managed by a community housing provider and let at a discount of at least 20% of market rent. Here I note that there is currently no requirement for community housing providers to be non-for-profit, leaving the door open for private providers to profit from this space. In an uncapped rental market, this discount to market model means affordable housing is deeply misleading. In practice, 20% discount on market rent means that people can be paying huge proportions of their income in a rental property that is technically affordable housing, but in actuality is anything but. In one so-called affordable housing complex in the city, 2-bedroom units rent at $1,150 per week, and a 1-bedroom unit rents for $775. This is outrageous and so far beyond what the community can afford. What's more is affordable housing doesn't have to be affordable forever. Currently, rents for affordable housing properties delivered through the housing system only need to be discounted for a minimum of 15 years, at which time they return to the private market. The idea of time limiting a solution to the housing crisis, which we know is deeply entrenched and cannot and will not be solved in 15 years, is absurd. And because there is no central oversight or register of affordable housing, we don't even know how many affordable housing dwellings there are in New South Wales or how many have returned to the private market. All of these loopholes are ones we desperately need to close if affordable housing is to be part of our housing solution. And in the new year, I look forward to bringing legislation on behalf of the Greens to do just that. I want to end on this point. While the Greens support the inclusion of affordable housing, with all of those loopholes closed in new housing developments, it is absolutely crucial that it is not seen as a get-out-of-jail-free card for the government. Affordable housing cannot replace building public housing, maintaining it and managing it by government. Public housing that our communities so desperately and immediately need right now. Tackling the housing crisis will take a range of solutions. Public housing, genuinely affordable housing, caps and controls on rents, tighter regulations on short-term rentals, high quality and supported specialist crisis and temporary housing with all the necessary wraparound and supports, as well as housing that meets sustainability and accessibility standards. The Greens are committed to working with the New South Wales Labor government to deliver these things so that everybody has a safe and secure place to call home.